So this week's Monday Makeup, as promised, we are continuing the foundation series and talking all about powder foundations. So I've done a poll this morning and there are a lot of mixed reviews actually on whether you actually currently use a powder in your routine or whether you dislike it because of a certain reason. So in today's Monday Makeup, we're going to bust some myths about powders, explain exactly why a powder is there in the first place in a makeup routine, and give you some options about our best-selling favourites. So Josie, do you want to take it away?
I will. Hello, everybody. So yeah, all about powders this week. I haven't powdered today. I've got sort of a normal to oilier skin type, so I tend to get super shiny on the forehead, definitely around my nose. That's the area where it will just break down the quickest. And then the rest of my face is pretty normal. So I will show you first. This is my very beloved Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder. This is essentially almost a translucent powder. It does come in different shades for different skin tones and undertones, but it won't really add color to your skin. So it's fab for just setting. So as you can see here, I'm already starting to get shiny. I only put my makeup on about half an hour ago, and I just like to take a little bit of a press, and I won't wipe it. If you tend to get more oily, you want to press it into the skin. So you really want to get that product. I tend to just press it there. And I take a little bit underneath my eye, but not too much, because we do tend to get a little bit drier underneath the eye and we don't want any crepiness or too much separating. And can you just see now how that has just taken away the shine? And this is infused with almond oil, so it is a little bit more of a hydrating powder. So maybe this would be a fab one if you want to dip your toes into the realms of a powder.
So I'm going to introduce one of the first powders from Jane Iredale. So following on from what Josie just said, I feel like I get a lot of clients that say to me, I'm really afraid of powders because I don't want them to set and I don't want them to go cakey throughout the day. So this powder is for clients out there that are saying these things. So if you're one of these clients that feel that you are finding that it's gathering, it's building up on the skin, it can be one of two reasons. It can be something to do with your skin. So you need to address that with products. And then once we've balanced the skin, we can then have a powder that still gives you that dewy finish, but a bit of coverage at the same time. So I'm going to introduce you to Jane Iredale Amazing Base. So these are in lots of different colours, but they also come in translucent, like Josie just demonstrated, where for those that don't really want a colour, they just want it for setting, you would opt for the translucent. I'm going to demonstrate it in a colour because I actually use this on a daily basis. As you can see, there's hardly any left. But like Josie, I haven't got anything on. So I've just got Helio Care, my tinted SPF as my liquid base. And I'm going to show you exactly how to use these powders over the top. So when you open these powders, they come with tiny holes. But these holes I've actually pierced. So there'll be a film sticker over the top. Some people will take that sticker all off and expose all of the holes. I personally leave that film across and I pierce individually so that the powder doesn't build up in the lid. Because when you're traveling, that's something that you really don't want.
That is such a good trick. I've never thought of that.
Did you not?
I've taken that little nugget, yeah.
It is, because it's so annoying if you've kept something in your makeup bag and then it goes everywhere.
Yeah, tell me, yeah, 100%.
So rather than peeling the film off now, guys, get something like a little hair grip or even like a pen, something pointy to just pierce the holes. So then what you want to do is turn the actual powder upside down into the lid, give it a couple of taps, and then you'll see that the powder starts to come out in the lid. I'm then going to be taking my chisel powder brush from Jane Iredale, which is a nice fluffy brush, swirl it round, tap off the excess, And then with Jane Iredale, it's all about putting the powder on in downward strokes. So for me, my forehead does get very shiny around the sort of T-zone area, but because I'm using this as a colour as well, you can put it all over the skin. So I'm using it on top of a liquid today, but these can be a standalone foundation. So for somebody that just wants to put a little bit of a dusting of colour just to even out their skin tone every day, this can actually be your foundation. So it's mineral, it's lightweight, and the loose, amazing base gives you a dewy finish without that cakiness. So if you can see the top of my forehead where I've not done it is more shiny. And there we have it. That is the amazing base.
Love it. Gorgeous, glowing skin. We love it. I'm now going to show you another powder. This one is from Bobbi Brown. This is a more of a brightening, glowing powder. So it reminds me of a Battenberg cake. And you've got all your different tones. Again, they come in different colors. So if you more of like a deeper skin tone or fairer, there's shades for everybody. But you've got sort of your more yellowing there, which is obviously brightening, and then your normal tones. And then you've got these here, which have a slight sheen to them. And also this powder is infused with hyaluronic acid. So perfect if you are someone with a more dehydrated, drier skin. And this is great for sort of more underneath the eye, anywhere where you want to have that a little bit more of a glow. So I just sort of mix them all together in no particular order, tap a little bit off, and again, just sort of press it. And it will take down that shine, but can you see in this area here where I've put it over, but you still have that slight iridescence coming through. And the great thing about it as well is you can just go in with, say, the matte shade and pop that around the nose. So obviously you don't want to add too much shine where you would get oily, because it would just look a little bit too much. Then you can take those more shimmery shades and almost use it as a highlighter. So you can see that side's a lot more matte, and this side still has that bit of a sheen to it, but it's not like shine.
Love it. So now is time for you oily skin lovers out there. And oily skin, just for everybody out there that hates their oily skin, actually it's the best skin type to have because we age slower. So remember that next time you want to dampen down that lovely glow that you have from within. So I'm going to show you how to use this powder first of all over the skin. So the powder that I'm talking about is the Jane Iredale Pure Pressed Powder. Now this does come in colours only. So this again can be used as your standalone foundation for somebody who is more oily, but for somebody that also wants a little bit extra coverage. So if you're a full coverage foundation wearer and you want to be able to set makeup in place. So a lot of people in my poll had said that they don't necessarily use a powder within their actual makeup routine. Now, if you're using a liquid foundation, 9 times out of 10, it needs to be set in place. So if you're someone out there that is using a liquid foundation, but is finding that throughout the day, you're having to reapply, or you're having to just blend it a little bit more throughout the day as it starts to wear off, you need a powder in your life. Now, this is mattifying, it's coverage, but it's not cakey. Now, what we have to do with this one is we use a different brush. The tool that you use is so important. Now, I absolutely rave about the handy brush from Jane Iredale. It's a very stumpy brush and it is formulated for the pure pressed powders. So for those that like a loose powder, stick to the fluffy. But if you're somebody that wants a coverage, you really should invest in a tool for the specific powder. So I'm just going to now go in with shade Golden Glow. Now this is like a yellowy tone. And I'm going to just, again, downward strokes on the forehead and in and around the face. So this is going to give me that more mattified look. You can spend time just going over T-zone, but this will set all liquids in place without it gathering throughout the day.
Looks gorgeous. It's so flawless, that one.
I've got to remember, Jane Iredale was actually created for TV. So it was actually formulated by a lady who was actually looking at people filming on TV. She wanted something that would actually help the skin whilst they're wearing it. So if you're looking for something flawless, this is the one.
And then last but not least, Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. This is a loose, I haven't used the trick that Alexis did, so it's been in my kit, so it's a little bit everywhere. But again, a fantastic powder just for setting the face, adding a light veil. It doesn't go cakey, so it's quite nice to reapply. They do come in different colours. This is just the translucent one, but they now do a honey and a deep.
Amazing. So before we finish, I'm just going to show you one quick trick that you can actually use with the Pure Press powder. So I have now effectively finished another layer of my makeup. So with Jane Iredale, they talk about layering. So if you're somebody that wants another coverage and you want that next level, I would now go in again in downward strokes over the skin with the same powder. But before you do that, you need to set it in place. Now, cakey powder, people that hate powder, people that are afraid of powder need to be using a hydration spray. You can use this throughout the day. So if you're working from home, working in an office where there's aircon, you're going from like hot to cold, your skin will be affected by all of these things. So we need to now put a spray all over the skin. This is infused with antioxidants that are going to help protect the skin throughout the day. It's going to hydrate the skin throughout the day, and it's going to give your skin a bit of a pick-me-up. So you know when your makeup starts to look a bit dull throughout the day and you think, it didn't look like this at 9 o'clock in the morning. This is something that you just whip out of your handbag, pop it all over the skin, and it instantly refreshes. It does come in different styles for different skin types. So just send me a message if you want to know which one's for you. But for those out there that like to use a sponge, so this is my sponge trick. So the Pure Press powders are also great if you want to cover blemishes or imperfections. So for example, I have had a breakout down here. So what we tend to do is we get the same colour powder in the Golden Glow, and with a flocked sponge or beauty blender, there are loads of sponges out there, but the flock sponge is from Jane Iredale. You then just dab over any imperfections. It could be scarring, it could be red veins, and you just dab over the imperfection. And then smooth it out with your handy brush. And that's one way of using it. The final way of using it is getting a lighter shade. I choose Warm Silk because it's very universal. And this one is for if you want to brighten your under eyes. So go in with a flocked sponge with a lighter shade, look up, and you want to be patting this underneath. Instantly brightens and just elevates your makeup. The perfect sort of red carpet look. And again, if you are noticing any sort of lines, any sort of unwanted definition, just go back in, grab your hydration spray, et voila. So I hope that today's Monday makeup has helped everybody out there who may or may not have tried a powder on their skin before, because as you can see, there is a powder for absolutely everyone.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.